Hey guys, what's up? It's Steve. So today I'm going to be doing another sous vide barbecue cook, or as some people are calling it, sous vide Q. So essentially what this is just taking a cut of meat, cooking it sous vide, and then finishing it outside on a grill or smoker. So today we're going to be doing a sous vide brisket. So we're going to cook the brisket sous vide for 30 hours, and then we're going to bring it outside to one of my smokers and hit it with some smoke, and then it's gonna be ready to eat. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I've got close to a 7-pound brisket flat here. I think it was like 6.78 pounds, got it from Publix. Gorgeous looking brisket here. There is just a little bit of fat cap on this guy. There's not a whole lot, so I'm not even going to trim this at all. I want to leave a little bit of this fat that's on here. And so the first thing that we're going to need to do in order for this thing to fit in my sous vide bags, and I hope they do, I need to get some larger bags at some point here. We're just going to cut this brisket against the grain just right in half. There we go. So got nice two gorgeous looking halves here, and we're going to go ahead and get these rubbed down. So I went ahead and checked, and there is no way that one of these whole halves is going to fit into my sous vide bags. Well, it'll fit, but barely. I'm going to have to cram it in there, and there's going to be almost no room to seal it properly up at the top. So I went ahead and cut the half into quarters. So we're going to end up having 4 quarters, but it doesn't matter in the end. It's all going to taste the same. What I'm going to be doing is using the Beef Brigade. This is by Gentry's Barbecue. And so this is just a really good all-purpose beef rub here. And it's got just salt, black pepper, brown sugar, ground coffee, and some garlic and other spices. I love rubs that have coffee in them on brisket. I think they just come out really good. So we're just going to go ahead and get these nice and dusted up. All right, and that'll do it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other 2 quarter pieces, and then we're going to get these guys in the vacuum bag. So here we are. This is my Weston Pro 2300 vacuum sealer. I've mentioned this in previous videos, but this is a phenomenal vacuum sealer. It's a little on the pricier end, but I've had it for years. It's never let me down. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. So here's one of our first pieces here. We're just going to go ahead and get this thing vacuum sealed. All right, and there we go. That's the first one. I'm going to go ahead and do the other 3, and then it's going to be time for the sous vide. So I just got this 26-quart container in the mail just the other day. Purpose of this massive container is if I can hunt down some much larger sous vide bags. I could have just done the whole brisket in one bag and just laid it in here. I'll also be able to do other larger cuts of meat, you know, big, huge pork loins, ribs, without having to cut the ribs in half, things like that. So, and then on top, these are the sous vide balls. So there's some pretty good articles out there. If you check out like Serious Eats or AmazingRibs.com, they kind of talk about the difference between using one of the lids or using these sous vide balls. And the sous vide balls work a little bit better. They just kind of help keep everything insulated and trap that steam from evaporating. It catches on the surface of these balls. And so before I dump these in here, I could visibly see a lot of steam already coming off. And now there's very little. So it's easy to see how well these work. I've got the water bath set to 155 degrees. The main reason I'm at 155 is because there's a lot more people out there that are much more experienced with sous vide cooking than I am. And especially Serious Eats, they have an amazing write-up on it. And it just kind of seems to be that money temperature in that 150, 155 degree range. And so all we're gonna do here is go ahead and just drop these bags in here. just like that. And this is going to cook for 30 hours. So I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I'm gonna see how these balls work. I may need to add a little bit of water later, I doubt it. But other than that, we're just gonna let the Joule do its thing, and we'll pick back up tomorrow. All right, so it's been 30 hours. So the sous vide portion of the cook is done. And of course, it is now pouring down rain outside. So that has messed up my plans of finishing this on the smoker right now. But it's okay, because when you're doing this method, these bags can sit in the fridge for up to 2 days, or you can freeze them. So, you know, you can go ahead and knock the sous vide portion of this cook out of the way and then finish it on the smoker at a later time. What I'm gonna do is tomorrow night, just checking the radar, it's not supposed to be raining tomorrow, so I'll finish these on the smoker tomorrow night. So we're just gonna get these in the fridge for now, and we'll pick back up tomorrow. All right guys, so it is the next day. It finally stopped raining. It rained like 30 hours straight, which is pretty ridiculous. So I've taken the brisket pieces out of the bags. I've got the REC TEC Stampede set to 225, and we're just gonna put these directly on the main rack right here. We're gonna let these go for about 1 hour. And that's just some of the fat that dried on them. That's gonna melt right off. So we're gonna hit these with some smoke, and then we'll pick back up soon. All right, so I ended up letting these smoke for an hour and a half. I checked them with my thermopin right at the 1 hour mark, and they were around 100 degrees on the internal. So you really just wanna bring these up to about 125 degrees or so they're nice and warm in the middle. So they are now at that temp. I'm just gonna pull all these, and we're gonna head on into the kitchen and slice into one of these things and check it out. All right, so I just cut this one bigger piece in half here, so you can kind of get a look at it here. And what I'm gonna do is slice off just a little piece here. And then I just kind of want to give this a little bit of pull. And so you can see that it's pulling apart with very, very little effort. It's not as juicy as a brisket that, you know, sat on a smoker for 15 plus hours. But the thing is that it's still incredibly, incredibly tender. So it's just a different way to cook it. You know, you obviously can see you don't have that big smoke ring that you're used to. You don't have that thick bark that you're going to be used to, but the meat is still tender. So let's go ahead and try this out. All right, so let's go ahead and give this a quick try. Pull one of these little pieces apart. Some of these still had a little bit of that fat on the bottom, like this one. Ooh, that was good. Definitely super tender. It's not as, you know, gushing with those beautiful brisket juices that, you know, most of us like to see in a brisket, but it is tender, pull apart. So, you know, this is just another way to cook a brisket. So before you guys start hating, this is not going to be my go-to method for brisket, but you can definitely lock in and nail down the tenderness aspect of it, and it's a really easy cook. So let me know what you think in the comments, and appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you again soon.